The Second Amendment is possibly the most controversial amendment ever written into the Constitution of the United States. When the Constitution was written and the Second Amendment was added, its intent was to provide a means for the citizen soldier and militiaman to repel against an attack from a tyrannical government or enemy, either foreign or domestic. Some people argue that in today's society there's no room for the Second Amendment, that guns need to be taken away from the citizen and only given to military and police officers. Some of the biggest opposers of the Second Amendment return home every night to the comfort of having an armed guard outside of their homes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Do you think that pro and anti-gun people will ever see eye to eye and come to common ground? Hi, my name is Dan Dobson, and today I'm going to discuss the importance of the Second Amendment and the troubles it faces in the United States today. The Second Amendment came about after the Revolutionary War. We were in a bloody war with the British. The British had a huge army that conquered half of the world before the Revolution. We were a colony. We had the Continental Army and the armed militia. Without the militia, the Revolutionary War would have been unwinnable. Our forefathers saw the importance of having a armed citizen populace to repel against a tyrannical rule in the future. They wanted the country free of British tyrannical rule and believed that the United States needed to be prepared for war at any time. It could come from anywhere. And one way to keep the country ready for war was to keep everybody armed. Shopkeepers, farmers, teachers, fathers, brothers, sons, everybody. If our founding fathers could see the way the United States is today, do you think that they would have written in the Second Amendment to the Constitution? That's a question you really have to ask yourself. I think they would, personally. But with all the crime on TV, who knows if they would or not. It's kind of up in the air. The Second Amendment is part of American culture. It's been around for a long time, and it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon, even though the government really seems like they want to take it away from us. There's more gun shops than there are pizza places in this country, so it's going to be hard if they do decide they want to take the guns away. Americans having guns is important because, like I said, it's part of culture. I mean, people grew up watching Howdy Doody and westerns every Saturday morning. It's kind of, in the blood. Next, I'm going to be talking about self-defense. If you have a gun in the house, you're going to be more likely to repel an attacker than if you don't have a gun in the house. In times of civil unrest like Katrina, with widespread looting, if you had a gun in your home and people knew it, chances are you wouldn't get looted. But if they did break into your house and you did present a gun, then chances are they're going to leave a lot quicker than if you didn't have a gun. Would crime rates be reduced if we weren't able to possess guns? I don't think so. If you look at Australia and England, for instance, they had their guns taken away and the crime rate went through the roof, especially with home invasions, because the people breaking into homes knew that the people inside of the homes didn't have guns to defend themselves. Other safe guns, not in the way of having a gun with a fingerprint reader or anything like that, but I think the safest approach to gun safety is education. If you can get with somebody that can teach you the proper way to handle a gun and the proper way to shoot it, then that's about the safest gun there is out there. A lot of people in America require a gun to put food on the table, especially in places like Alaska where it's remote and there's no grocery stores. Without guns, they would starve to death. They'd be reduced to using a bow and arrow, and the possibilities of starving to death would be higher than if they had a gun. Next, I'll be talking about the possibility of crimes involving guns, where those guns obtained legally. Now look at Chicago. Chicago has a huge murder rate involving guns, and there's not one gun shop inside of Chicago at all. It's illegal. So that should answer your question right there. Most of the guns used in crimes are not obtained legally. As a country, to reduce gun crimes, we should be educated. I think that's the biggest and most important thing is education, like I said previously. The future of the gun in this country, it's up in the air. Nobody really knows right now, but hopefully they're going to be around for a while, because I'd like to give some guns to my grandkids. In conclusion, today we talked about the importance of the Second Amendment, the troubles it faces today, and the events that prompted its creation. The views of our founding fathers, how it's important we as Americans continue to be able to keep and bear arms. We also talked about guns in the home for protection in times of peace and civil unrest, and the employment of guns for getting food. Lastly, we talked about guns used in crimes, what we can do as a nation to reduce the number of gun crimes, and no matter what side of the fence you're on, it's important to realize that guns are an important part of our culture and they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Guns aren't evil. Unfortunately, some people are. Thanks.